Welcome back, everybody. For this particular lecture, we're going to talk about cut lists for doors. Now remember, every manufacturer has their own style, if you will. We're going to go through what I do in my shop, and it does apply to pretty much everybody. You have to do the same math, but we'll get into some of the differences in a minute. Here's a simple door, and all I've done is I've labeled that it's 18 inches wide and that is 26 inches long. So we have to break down from those numbers, and all of these are 2.5, all these sticks that go around it, what the cut list is going to be. So let's go ahead and start. It starts out very similar to face frame, but our cut lists, like I mentioned before, are always written in 3 numbers. How many pieces, their width, and then their length. You know, pieces with length, pieces with length. That's what we're going to do. So we have our number of pieces, width, and length. So we're going to fill this in. The door. Remember, every piece that's the same size can go on one line of the cut list. So again, these are called stiles, they're vertical, rails are horizontal, and so forth. We have mullions and muntins and all that kind of thing, but we're just going to worry about a simple door for this one. How many stiles, these are always the easiest ones, do we have? We have 2, 1 on each side. 2 of them. How wide? 2.5. And how long? They are exactly 26. They're going to be from the total top to the total bottom, 26 inches. I'll go ahead and put those marks on. The other ones are the rails. Now, to get rails, I first need to know what it is exactly from here to here. What is that dimension? 18 inches minus 2.5 minus 2.5. 18 minus 5, 13. So I know that this is 13. Now, this is not a butt joint where 2 boards are just butted together somehow. They're either screwed together, glued together, whatever. It's not very strong. We do what's called a cope and stick joint. This is what a cope and stick joint looks like. So you have 2 ends that fit together. Now, because this joint is made the way it is, you're going to be losing some of your length. And in my case, the distance from the edge to the inside of that tongue is 3/8 of an inch. So if I'm losing 3/8 of an inch on each side, I need to add that back on to my cut list to make sure I have that length so my door is the right size. So I don't like dealing with eighths very much, so if I have 3/8 here and 3/8 there, what's 3/8 plus 3/8? It's 3/4. 6/8 reduced is 3/4. So whatever it is, from this spot to this spot, that joint, I just add 3/4 of an inch. So back to my cut list, 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 13 plus 3/4, 3/8 twice, 13 and 3/4 inches. And that is the cut list, at least for the stiles and rails. The last step is going to be the panel. That's the center panel. I have 1 of those. The width is always this way. And the reason is because the grain is going to always go vertical on doors. You always want, that's the way it looks best. Grain that goes this way would never happen in industry, so don't bother. Grain goes this way, so that means my width is across the grain. So my width, because it sticks into that same groove, is going, for the panel is going to be exactly the same as whatever the length of this piece is, because they go into the exact same groove. So this piece was 13 3/4, so this is 13 3/4. So these 2 numbers are always going to match. All right, now my length is this way. We're going to do the same math we did for the rails a second ago. 26 inches minus 2.5 minus 2.5. 26 minus 5 is 21. So I know that that's 21 from that line to that line. Then add 3/4 of an inch, and that's it. 21 and 3/4 inches, and there is the cut list for this door. Now, I'm going to erase our cut list that we just made and change something. So let's go ahead and erase some of these things. So I've just finished changing some aspects of the door. I've changed the overall size. I've changed how wide the stiles and rails are. And I've also put in a different detail. This is called a cathedral style. It would also work if it was an arc, okay, or an arch, if you will. but the math will stay the same, and let me explain why. The only other thing that you'll need to know right up front is how wide these boards are, these two. And in my case, from there to there is going to be 4.5 inches. And that is something that's a given, and I'll explain that as we go. So let's start right off with stiles, our usual. I know I have two stiles that are 3 inches wide each. Okay, 3 by total, bottom to top, 30. It's 30 inches. Done. Now we do the rails. I have two rails, they are the same. Once in a while you'll see doors that have a cathedral top and a flat bottom. Then you'll just have two lines, one of these and one of those. That's fine. So for today, for this, we're just doing them together. I've already got it labeled that they're 4.5 inches wide. So we can mark that right down. 4.5 by my length. Again, 16 inches minus 3. Minus 3 is going to be 10. So I know from that joint to that joint is 10. And then add on your 3/4 of an inch. 10 and 3/4. Okay, so stiles and rails are done. Now we've got the panel left. So we have one panel. Our width of the panel is the same as the length of the rail. That number goes straight down here, 10 and 3/4 by some length. Now, we're probably looking at the door and going, how the heck we need to know what this is? Whenever you build a door, you want to have it so that the top of this arch and to here matches your other stiles. Your stiles and whatever other elements. They're 3. These stiles are 3. So from here to here, I want it to be 3 inches, which makes the math very simple. So even though this is 4.5 inches, which we wrote, and it's correct, with this being 3, I just need to know what it is from that extreme to this extreme. The math is the same, at least the method is. 30 inches minus 3. I need to know the tip, the top. Minus 3 minus 3. 30 minus 6 would be 24. And that's extreme. It goes into the same groove. We just add on 3/4 of an inch. 24 and 3/4, and you're done. Now the cathedral parts get cut out later, but you still build the entire square first, the rectangle, if you will. Get that cut out first, and then we cut out the shape after that. So that's a simple method to get it. Remember that you just need the extreme, and that will always be labeled. At least from here to here will be labeled always. But remember, whatever the stiles are, that will be your subtraction for this piece. That's always the same. Now what happens if we have multiple doors? This is very simple. Let's say I've got 4 doors. Now, since I'm not saying that they're a different size, all we have to do is change how many we have. 4 doors, how many stiles are we going to have? Erase all those. There's 2 per door, 2 times 4, 8 of them. How many rails are we going to have? 2 times 4 is 8, same thing. And we'll have 4 panels for 4 doors. So the only thing that changes with multiple doors is how many pieces there are, but the math is the same. So if all the doors are the same, you do the math once, and then you just apply it to all of your other cut lists.